So we're going to give him a cheque. Come here, please, because I can't get out.
Do you want to do it in front?
Yes. Yes. Can you two come over here? I've got a cheque for £1,644.50. So it's come in, then we can get. Look at it.
Hold it straight.
I'm not too training this as well.
Well, should we hold it either side?
I've only got a chair in minutes.
I'll make them smile.
Instead of smiling, fine, Brown.
Thank you. Let's go. Get it. Yes. Thank you, Andy.
Anyway, thank you very much. So, that's a proper check.
Thank you. Thank you.
Sorry, I'll put it
Thank you, Andy. Thank you.
You don't get twice as much with 2 cheques.
We might do
Don't
it.
try back in the back.
You can try.
Don't think you can manage.
Well,
This is true. Still here? No, this went wide. Never mind, we're very good. Cheers.
Anyway, thank you very much.
Thank you, Andy. Thank
Right, everybody, shall we start our proper annual meeting? Thank you. Right, the first thing I'm delighted to do is to nominate somebody for new mayor, and I'm going to nominate Councillor Paul Ward, who's been my deputy for this year, and who I'm sure will be an excellent mayor. He's done it before. I'm sure he's in very stable hands, and I would propose Councillor Ward. Councillor Johnson.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. I'd like to second that nomination. Councillor Ward is a councillor of great integrity. He is patient, he is calm on most occasions. He represents Tavistock well, and I know together with Jane will carry out his duties well. So I'm very pleased to put his name forward, and I'm delighted to second that nomination.
Thank you very much. Do we have any other nominations? Good. Well then I think if we'll all vote, those in favour of Councillor Ward becoming our new mayor. Congratulations. Now give Paul the chain.
Thank you, Andy.
Okay. Fine.
If you'd just like to face forwards while...
Shake his hand.
All right, and look at the camera. Andy will give us any other instructions.
Okay, thank you very much.
Oh yes, okay. Yes. I'll now pass the declaration of acceptance of office to the mayor. Here. Hang on. Sorry, you're over there. You're over here. I'll sign my part. Thank you. Congratulations, Mr. Mayor. Thank you.
Excuse me.
Would you like?
Yeah, it's got to be read.
Do you think you could just read the declaration, please? Of course. Thank you. I, Paul Ward, having been elected to the office of Town Mayor of the Council of the Tavistock Town, hereby declare that I take the said office upon myself and will duly and faithfully fulfil the duties thereof according to best of my judgment and ability. So at this point, I call upon Councillor Hutton to invest the new mayoress with chain of office.
Okay. Miss please, I'm Susan. So we recognise it. 1 minute before.
Okay, thank you. It's now my great honour and pleasure to thank Council for very kindly electing me to the post of Mayor yet again. Before I say anything more though, and in the knowledge that shortly there will be a tribute to the outgoing Town Mayor, I'd just like to express my personal appreciation for everything Councillor Hutton has done for the town during his year as Mayor. I know that at times it hasn't been easy for personal and family reasons, but Andy has delivered his role with good humour and conscientiously throughout that time, and we all owe you our thanks, Andy. I'm very much looking forward to serving as Mayor for another year and working with members, officers of the Council, our managers, staff and of course the community in the best interests of our town. It's quite a significant responsibility. It's quite a significant burden isn't quite the right word because it's very pleasurable, but it does take up a lot of time being in the role of Mayor, and you have to just accept that. But the great thing is when exercising particularly the civic and ceremonial duties, you get to learn so much about this town that we all love. You're invited to functions and locations that you probably wouldn't otherwise go to. You meet people you might not otherwise meet, and you become aware of how many people in the town do good things in the interests of the town and for its people. So thank you very much indeed for giving me the opportunity to serve again. As in the oath, I will do it as well as I can, as diligently as I can, and I'll try to match Andy's good humour, but I don't always manage that. Thank you very much indeed. So I could call upon the Deputy Mayor, or soon to be, Councillor Steve Hipsey, to give his tribute to the outgoing Mayor.
Certainly, Mr. Mayor, I'd be delighted. Fellow members, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to thank Andy Hutton, Councillor Andy Hutton, for being our Mayor for the last year. It's interesting that I also would like to include Mayoress, even though she's not here. Interesting that she's on babysitting duties this evening. Well, she's on babysitting duties. I think Andy's been sitting in that chair being on babysitting duties for us for the last year. So thank you very much for that. And I say that especially on behalf of the new members, my fellow new members. And I think you've really done a great deal of good making us feel welcome in this chamber over the last year. So many thanks for that. I also would like to say how, in my opinion, seeing you and Sue around town doing what the Mayor does, I'd like to thank you for your very bright and cheerful countenance. It's been you've been a ray of sunshine, 2 rays of sunshine in fact, in the town. So I think I'm really saying thank you to you on our behalf, but also all the people of the town for doing that. It's been an interesting year, I think everybody will agree. There's been a great deal going on with the new works, the works to the town hall and Market Road and so on and so forth. Something that's particularly dear to my heart is great to see Bannerwell Street Play Park taking shape now. So hopefully children will be playing there in the summer and enjoying it. So you've looked after us during that time. And also, I would be remiss if I didn't mention the dreadful parking meter campaign that we fought for so long, and you were very much by our side in that respect, and I can say that on a personal basis. So many thanks for your very hard work in making that work. So in all, I think we can really say that Andy Hutton's been a really good helmsman here for the council during the year, and I can say that in more than one senses, because Andy, as you probably know, does sail with me. He's a good crew and he's a damn good hand on the tiller. So many thanks, Andy Hutton.
I call upon Andy Hutton for his response.
Thank you. It'll be a quick one. Thank you, everybody, for this year. It's been great fun, as you've obviously realised. I've thoroughly enjoyed it, and I know Susan has as well. And also, on a personal note, as most of you know, I missed my civic service because I had to go and have my prostate operated on the same afternoon. Well, it's 6 months now, and I've just had blood tests which have just shown that everything is very good. So thank you, everybody, for all the support I know some of you have given me a lot of support, and it has been appreciated. So yes, it's been a lovely year. I'm not going to say anything more. I know Paul will enjoy it. Let's carry on working for this lovely town. There's a lot going for this town. 1 or 2 problems, but a lot going. So let's all carry on enjoying it, and thank you all very much.
Andy, could I ask you to come forward to receive your former mayor's badge? They're terrible to stick on, so I'm going to let you just take it in its box. Okay, thank you. So the next item on the agenda is to elect the deputy mayor for this civic year, 24-25. Do we have any nominations, please?
Yes. Me, please. Steve Hipsey is a relatively new councillor to our council, but obviously has been very involved in all sorts of things going on in the town in the last few years. The parking meters. He helped me with Ursula, Councillor Mann. We formed Tavi Helps for the coronavirus, for COVID, and just generally is very involved. Tidy Tavi. So absolute. I have no hesitation in nominating him to be the deputy for this year.
Thank you. Do we have a seconder, please?
Yes, I'd be delighted to second that.
Thank you very much. Are there any other nominations? In which case, all in favour of Councillor Hipsey becoming the deputy mayor, please show.
That is carried.
Thank you. Steve, if you'd come forward. I'll come out. Right, so, splendid, thank you. Well,
Just go that way.
oh, right, okay.
Tell me what the general manager is.
Do you want to?
I'm trying not to get in it.
Please.
You're on it, you're on it.
Good. Stuff. Now I need to sign, I think, don't I?
You do.
It's the rest of the week.
Oh, I'm not here now.
Yeah, you're there.
Yes, you've moved now.
New seat. Where am I signing?
I can ask you to sign that.
Sign.
I need to scan to sign.
If you could read out the declaration.
Yes, certainly. So,
Congratulations.
thank you very much. Cheers. I need
told me to read it. You do. You do. I apologise.
And I'm going to stand, as it's my habit. I, Steve Hipsey, having been elected to the office of Deputy Town Mayor of the Council of the Tavistock Town, hereby declare that I take the said office upon myself and will duly and faithfully fulfil the duties thereof, according to the best of my judgment and ability.
Thank you. And if I could call upon you to say a few
Certainly.
words to council.
Yes, I'm not going to say a great deal. I'm sure I'll get an opportunity to do that in the coming weeks. Wow, it's strange looking from this direction. Lots of smiling faces. Let's hope we can keep them that way. So many thanks to Town Council for electing me to this office. I'll strive to do my very best and keep this, as Councillor Hutton said, keep this town on an even keel and generally thriving. Smiles all round, I think. Let's keep it that way. Thank you very much.
Thank you. We move to item 3 on the agenda, apologies for absence.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. We have apologies for absence from Councillors Moody, Lewis and Parker.
Thank you. And item 4, declarations of interest. If any of you have any declarations to make, please do so now. Or if you become aware of anything as we go through the remainder of the agenda, let us know as soon as you're aware of it. Does anybody have any declarations of interest to make, please? Fine. Item 5 is confirmation of the minutes. So this is confirming the minutes of the meeting of council on the 23rd of April. Are you happy that they are an accurate record of what took place?
Yes.
Yes, so all in favour please show.
Carried.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so item 6, order of business, and to consider the suspension of standing orders numbers 5J, little 4, little 6, 8 to 10, 12 and 20 to enable the following business to be transacted, that business being the matter of the Mayor's expenses, and at this point I will declare an interest and withdraw from the room, and the Deputy Mayor will take this item on my behalf.
Immediate promotion. This is impressive. Temporary. Members, I would like to propose that we award the Mayor's expenses, as is traditional in the Council, to the sum of £2,000. May I have a proposal, please?
I'm happy to propose that we accept the allowance of £2,000.
And a second, please?
Happy to do it to second.
Thank you very much. Yes.
Can I make an amendment to that? That we've been on the council now for 9 years. We've been through the pandemic and everything like that. And in the 9 years that I've been on the council, it has always been £2,000. And I think with the cost of living going up, etc., I think we should make it 2,500.
Please, Mr. Town Clerk.
Thank you, Mr. Deputy Mayor. It's completely in the discretion of the council. I mean, the only observation I would make is this is one of the budget lines which is looked at each year when the budget is set, and that's what was agreed by the council when you set the budget for the current financial year. But as always, obviously, if you wish to review, you may do so.
Councillor Youngs, please.
May I just point out, it used to be £3,000 and the 1,000, I'm looking at Councillor Johnson to correct me, see she's nearly ready, the other 1,000 was left in the pot to pay for some of the events that are in-house. Correct me if I'm wrong, somebody. Because that's what it used to be.
Probably Councillor Mrs Johnson knows better than I do. I'm not aware of that.
Councillor Mrs Johnson, can we have your view, please?
Thank you, Mr Deputy Mayor. Yes, it used to be more than £2,000, but at that time the Mayor was expected to fund all the civic receptions they did. So I can remember at one time funding the reception that was held when Ted Sherrill was made a freeman of the town. Very expensive. Visiting foreign visitors, you funded receptions for those, the wine, the drinks, the food. So it was decided to have a separate budget line for that, which we have now under civic ceremonial, and the allowance for the mayor would then be reduced to £2,000. And really this is used to everywhere you go, you buy raffle tickets or make small donations to people. So I think the role is covered fairly well. I mean, I haven't done it for a while, but I would say £2,000 is probably okay. But I don't want to be, you know, if the whole of Leicester Council thinks it should be more than that, then so be it. I'd be happy to support that.
Yes, Councillor Hutton.
I think we refer it to BNP, and I think we discuss it at the next meeting.
Can I just ask Councillor Mrs Johnson, please, how long in your recollection it has been £2,000?
It wasn't in 2007.
So
might not have been in 2000.
Talking pretty much a decade, aren't we here?
Yes, at least.
Yeah. So my
3,000 in my first year, so 2009.
Councillor Mann, please.
I remember us actually changing it one of the years prior to now, actually, but I don't remember why. And I just wanted to ask, because you've obviously been mayor twice, have you run through that £2,000 and did you feel that you ended up having to make personal expenses?
No, I kept within £2,000. It would only have been difficult, I think, if I'd have gone to Germany.
Yes.
I lost
to
some.
sell
I did pay for tickets, but I couldn't go, of course. But if I'd have actually gone there, that would have been probably about £900. But apart from that, no, I didn't spend £2,000, and I did buy lots of raffle tickets and things.
So can I just propose that if we have a trip like that planned, or if there's an extra expense that's above and beyond, that we would then address it at that point in budget and policy, and forward the mayor some money? Because if it's not necessary, I don't see the point of sort of giving extra money for no clear reason.
What I'm hearing really is there are obviously feelings on both sides here. It does seem that over 10 years, inflation has increased massively. So there are grounds for considering this. I'm not entirely sure this is quite the forum for that, given that we are in a fairly formal ceremonial role at the moment. I think Councillor Hutton's suggestion that this goes to BNP for further consideration, where we can actually look at it in a lot more detail. That's probably the way we should go. So, are you happy with that, Councillor Venning, as a proposal? Has anybody got any violent disagreement in that respect? No, thank you very much. In that case, we will take this to the next BNP. No. Councillor Ewings.
You need to decide tonight if we're going to accept the allowance as it is.
Of course we do.
And
yes.
then take it forward
yes, indeed. Yes.
again.
Please.
If I may, Mr Deputy Mayor, what I would suggest, just picking up the point that's been made, is that if you're agreeable, you agree it at the sum as scheduled of £2,000, subject to the outcome of any review by the Budget and Policy Committee and further consideration by Council of any recommendations that come from it. What that enables us to do is then to put it into the payroll as a start point at this stage, at the beginning of the civic year. But if as a result of the review you decide on something different, then you leave that open without engaging the 6-month rule within your standing orders, if
yes.
that's agreeable.
I think that makes perfect sense. And thank you very much, Mrs Ewings, Councillor Mrs Ewings, for that reminder. So if I can then propose that, no, I need a proposal from the floor, don't I, here? So if I can ask somebody pleased to propose the sum of £2,000 for the Mayor's allowance in this year.
I've done that.
You've done it. Thank you very much, and seconded. So we just need to vote on it, please. All in favour?
That is carried.
Thank you very much.
Yes, I would like to propose that we accept that.
Thank you, Councillor Possible.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. Having met the criteria for eligibility for the general power of competence relating to the electoral mandate, bracket 66%, and the relevant training of the clerk to re-adopt the general power of competence, I propose.
Happy to second, Mr Mayor.
Thank you very much. Agenda is simply to receive and note the record of attendances at meetings held between May 2023 and May 2024. Councillors.
I noticed that we have a ranking now on the actual number of meetings attended, and I just would like to point out that I've been to a meeting for the neighbourhood plan over the last year, pretty much every month of the year, and it's not considered one of the other meetings that is listed here because it's a, community working group. So I sort of feel like I've missed out there, since I would have probably another 12 meetings on these, and I just wanted to point out that it's not really a really good ranking when it doesn't put forward the actual work of the people that are on the council in that way.
I've said before, and I'll say it again, I don't think there's anyone else amongst us who would have achieved as much as you have achieved in the time available. Councillor Mrs Ewings.
Do we actually have to formally print this every year?
Yep.
It's very much a matter of your discretion as to how, as a council collective, you wish to to pick this up. I mean, if you want to sort of consider it a budget and policy and see if there's a better way of doing it or not do it at all, very much it's a matter of members' gift.
Go on.
Years ago, years ago, if we were absent from a meeting, we had to fill in a form and say why we were absent. And I think that's a much fairer way of doing things. My absences, I was in hospital with pneumonia at the time, and, you know, issues there, and that's the only meetings I've missed. And I feel that, you know, Councillor Mrs Johnson's done 100%, and yet she's 8th on the list. Now, I know it's because other people attend other meetings. I've attended some DML meetings this year. That's not on there, you know, and it doesn't always seem fair. And I think, you know, Councillor Mann has a very valid point that, you know, she's been to dozens of extra meetings, and yet it doesn't seem to be looked at in a fair light.
Can I ask a question, please?
Yes, please go ahead.
Perhaps I could ask a question of the Assistant to the Town Clerk, please. Jan, does this actually appear on the Council's website?
Yes, it does, because it's an agenda item on this for this meeting.
So this actual document is...
Yes.
Thank you very much.
If I might, I don't know whether this is one for you or for you, Carl. Are we required to publish this sort of information?
There isn't a requirement to publish it, but it is certainly information which is accessed from time to time, both by members of the public with inquiries. It also tends to be the kind of information which the Lord Lieutenant's Office will refer to in the event that someone is nominated for honours, in order to identify the extent, if the honour is connected with their local government service, in order to identify the extent to which they are a regular attender, as well as other things that they will do to establish what contributions they make in that role. So it tends to be something which is perhaps rather more niche from that point of view, but it is something which is accessed, and that's probably one of the reasons why we actually reflect it in different forms, so that you can actually establish, you know, both relative ranking, but also in terms of the number of meetings one serves on. But as I say, I mean, if it's something members would like to pick up at budget and policy, either to decide whether or not to continue with it at all, or indeed whether or not to vary it, then that's probably the route to go. Is it's not an item for determination as to whether or not to continue it tonight as such.
No, indeed. Councillor Mrs Mann.
Yeah, I'm sorry. The only reason I raised it was not because I don't believe in doing something about attendances, because I do. I think it's important information. What I don't think is reflected on there is the amount of work that I have put in on that group, which has been for the council. I think, Councillor Hipsey, you will potentially, I don't know, be down for the bid. Jen? No?
Well, I was certainly surprised to be so high up on the list. That's
So if the bid is not, if those meetings are also not listed, you are also attending meetings which are not reflected in here. And my point is that if it is meant to be used by members of the public as a proxy for the dedication of the public servants that are on the council, then I think it does need to reflect accurately what they've done. And that's all I'm asking, is that it needs to be accurate and not give a false impression, which in my case I feel it does, of their level of commitment and the amount of effort that they've put in.
I think it is.
Can I just make 2 points, please? Up until 2021, we did used to rank by like 100% attendance, whatever. I was asked to change it then for 2022 because those who attended many more meetings, if you only had to attend 10 meetings across a year, it's much easier to get 100% attendance than if, in some cases, people are, because they join many committees and working groups, are obliged to attend, say, 37 to 40. So it was considered fairer to base it on the actual numbers of meetings attended. With regards to Councillor Mann's point, obviously, if we did include neighbourhood development plans, that would increase the number of possible attendances. So it would work its way out. So your attendances would be more, but the number of meetings you'd be expected to attend would also be more.
Yes, but I attended all of them, and therefore I would be much higher on the ranking that is based on the actual number of meetings attended, because I would have a higher number of meetings that I would have attended. I just am saying that the way it is now is unclear, and I think if it is supposed to be used as a tool, sort of maybe a blunt tool for figuring out whether somebody's involved in the council in a way that's good for our community, then it should be accurate.
I think there are real problems using either percentages or the absolute number of meetings, and I agree that they don't necessarily reflect the contribution individual councillors make to the work of the council. As far as this evening is concerned, we're simply required to receive and note the record of attendances, not to debate the way that the data is collected and displayed. But I think there is enough concern amongst members to recommend that this goes to B&P for further discussion and analysis, and to come forward to council with a proposal if we can come up with a better way of doing it. Would members be happy with that, just informally? In which case, can I propose that we receive and note the record of attendances, please? Do we need to vote on that?
If you could just receive it.
So, proposer, please, to receive. Thank you, Trevor. And seconder? Thank you. And all in favour, please show.
That is carried.
And that, members, brings us to the end of proceedings. Thank you very much indeed. We finish one civic year and we start another.